Hi there. My name's TSkaggs, and I will be going over a benchmark of organizational design, structure, and change specifically related to Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo opened on March 18, 1852 by Henry Wells and William Fargo. The business was initially started as a stagecoach transportation business, but now serves as a company who states their focus is on helping customers build business and manage money in a rapidly changing world. Each year, Fortune magazine publishes a most admired list of the top companies in the U.S. Firms are rated on innovativeness, quality of management, long-term investment value, social responsibility to the community and the environment, people management, quality of products and services, financial soundness, wise use of corporate assets. While one-dimension failure typically leads to multiple, and in Wells' case, it definitely did, I'm going to focus on how Wells Fargo's quality of management was truly brought forth through the scandals that rose from unrealistic sales goals. Wells Fargo has failed on its dimension of quality management. Ironically, Wells Fargo used to be centered around courtesy and service, but that took a turn in 2016. In 2016, management decided to turn their back to courtesy and service to focus on unrealistic sales goals. If employees did not receive their sales goals, they would quickly be terminated from the company. This created a results-driven culture, which unfortunately led to illegal activity and unethical behavior. As outlined in Investopedia, quality of management is the act of overseeing all activities and tasks needed to maintain a desired level of excellence. This can be done by creating and implementing quality control measures and adapting to challenges that arise, and reviewing or improving the control measures as needed. Unfortunately, Wells Fargo jumped the gun and created unrealistic expectations by poor planning, which led to poor training. This also created a lack of accountability by management. With this lack of quality of management, Wells Fargo had continuous fraud happening with employees trying to meet sales goals. The public became aware of this, which resulted in a lot of distrust for all stakeholders that Wells Fargo is continuing to see repercussions for. Because of the many years of scandals and fallout, Wells Fargo is working to rebuild their reputation by revamping their organizational structure, design, and culture. In 2020, they publicly announced structural changes by creating a flatter line of business, which will create clear accountability and responsibility. Now the CEO has 5 business area CEOs reporting directly to them, and these 5 business area CEOs are represented on committees of operations to be directly tied and visible to any company risk. New roles were also created to focus specifically on sales practices. These roles will monitor sales analytics and make sure they are ethical and align with business practices. Like any company culture, it will take much longer to shift. Hopefully, by implementing new safeguards, employees will not feel a serious pressure to meet sales goals and will act ethically, which will ultimately create change to the company's culture. The founder of Conscious Culture Group states, there is a large misalignment between what the leaders say they want and what employees actually experience. It is very clear that Wells Fargo had a large misalignment, but are wanting to create a change. Unfortunately, it had to happen this way, but they are now moving towards more ethical behaviors and truly want to see a brighter future by regaining the trust of their stakeholders, who are now at the forefront of all business decisions. I believe by creating these safeguards, like new roles that were previously stated, they will move towards a more conscious culture. By using Cotter's 8-step change model, we can see how quality of management can be better managed. First, there is clearly a sense of urgency with an unfreezing and cultural detox. Build a guiding coalition by finding a diverse, influential group of employees who can strategically partner with HR to support change. In an unstable environment like this one, you need to work on vision and initiatives to involve others who will then buy into the new change. Frequently communicate your vision and plan changes, and hold it at the core of all you do in order to enact this cultural shift. Remove obstacles that hinder implementing your vision and celebrate short-term wins. This change is going to be a marathon, not a sprint. So if you're able to share small, attainable wins, employees will continue to feel motivated. Also, sustain acceleration. Once organizational confidence is built up, bring in long-term goals to keep that momentum going. Finally, institute change by learning from your past failures, keeping your new goals and vision in mind, and frequently communicating through multiple levels of employees for understanding. When thinking of the challenges that Wells Fargo may face, the list can go on and on. As expected in any change, though, there are many challenges that could be faced. When it boils down to it, the main challenge that Wells Fargo could face is a lack of trust. Employees and all stakeholders lost faith in Wells Fargo when these scandals first started, and the fact that it went on for so long, it could be very hard to pull themselves out of this grave to get buy-in from everybody. Hopefully, by implementing Cotter's 8-step change model, they can benefit and it can very much help them in the future. There were quite a few lessons learned by Wells Fargo based on these scandals, and hopefully lessons learned by other businesses that saw the fallout that happened to Wells Fargo. The first lesson learned that comes to mind, though, is avoiding using legitimate power. This is a power based on a person's holding of the managerial position rather than anything the manager is or does as a person. By utilizing legitimate power, Wells Fargo's managers were able to instill fear into their employees, which resulted in them acting unethically. Things Wells Fargo should now be welcoming are transformational leaders who recognize the need for change, create a vision to guide that change, and to execute the change effectively. Thank you for your time today, and if you have any further questions, please feel free to reach out to me at any time.